Part 44. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 432. Chapter 432, Making Trouble. Now, his family are happy and happy. Uncle I won't go. I have to go to Mrs. Wu's house later. Gujaran shook his head and put the game out of his mind. Want to go? Of course she wants to go, but now is not the time. Hyans looked at Ran and said, don't go to Mrs. Wu's house today. I'll call the old man later. Ran, the college entrance examination is important, but uncle thinks life is also important. Grandma with Ming, shook her head immediately after hearing An's words. There will be a lot of time to play in the future, but don't listen to your uncle. My wife will accompany you to Mrs. Wu's house later. In the eyes of the elderly, it is more important to get into college. After you get into college, you can do whatever you want. Ran nodded and agreed, well, I will listen to my wife. Hyans was speechless. It was hard for him to refute Grandma, but in his opinion, girls really don't have to be too tired. If he had a daughter, forget it, he won't let Xiaoxiu suffer such a heavy punishment again. The same goes for treating his daughter-in-law as a daughter in the future, and he does not need to go through the stage of marrying a daughter. On a rare day off, Hyans took the children to the park. In the end, Mei Shui did not go. She was called over by a call from the beauty shop. The children were a little unhappy about this, but they also knew that their mother had serious business to do. In the beauty salon, when Mei Shui came, she heard someone making a lot of noise, which was quite fierce. What's going on? Mei Shui stopped a staff member and asked. She rarely comes here, but everyone knows her, mainly because their store manager did a great job and showed them photos of his 3 bosses. Boss, that person insisted that his face was ruined by using our products. Of course, the clerk defended his store, so he said with a trace of resentment. Mei Shui patted her and said, it's okay. She used those things, show them to me. Mei Shui is not the kind of person who is blind and protects others. If it was really the fault of her own store, she wouldn't run away. The clerk took the boss to see the products no matter how unwilling he was. When she got all the products, Mei Shui was speechless. That's all. Looking at the things on the front desk, Mei Shui found it hard to imagine that these things would make her look bad, because she was the one who made them lazily. No one knows the ingredients inside it better than she does. The main ingredient is aloe vera, but she was too lazy to purify it and added some of her own finished medicine in it, which is mainly used to replenish water. Aloe vera can be eaten directly by putting it in your mouth. This food will definitely not affect people. Even those who are allergic to aloe vera will not suffer from the amount of it. Not to mention her medicines, the things she sells are of high quality. No, she just bought such a series of things. The price is also cheap. We shop assistants use it ourselves, and no one has a bad face. She must have come here to extort money. Compared to the clerk's anger, Mei Shui was much calmer. Go over and ask your store manager to call the police. If we are found to be responsible, then we will be responsible to the end. If not, let her compensate for our losses. Mei Shui also has a temper, not a little one at all. The clerk was very happy when he heard what the boss said. Okay, I'll go right away. He put down his things and squeezed over immediately. Mei Shui sat down directly. It seems that business is booming and some people are jealous. It's normal to encounter such things when doing business, but she doesn't like trouble, so she rarely asks about things in the store. Since something happened in the store, she had to take care of it. In the crowd, I saw that the noisy woman had deep red spots on her face, and there were pimples on the edges of the red spots. Looking closer, it was indeed a bit scary. There are quite a few customers in the store. The clerk was also smart. Store manager, the boss called just now. Regardless of right or wrong, call the police first and then send the person to the hospital. Huang Wenwen was happy when she heard this. She had wanted to do this for a long time because she was afraid of embarrassing her boss. Sure. You call the police immediately, and find a few people and we will accompany her to the hospital, Huang Wenwen said with a smile on his face and full of confidence. Tilting his head to the right, he saw his boss Mei watching a good show. I was very speechless. She has 3 bosses, each one more crooked than the last. The woman immediately became nervous when she heard that the police was about to be called, but when she thought of something, she immediately became arrogant again. Don't think that I'm afraid of calling the police. My face is here and I'm using your stuff. If we don't resolve the matter today, we won't be finished. I won't go to the hospital with you. Who knows if you will? We'll collude with doctors. Her words were also recognized by some customers. Everyone wanted to know the quality of the products in this store. After all, they spent so much money. Huang Wenwen laughed angrily. Then what do you want to do? No matter what method they gave, this person did not agree and only wanted to make a noise here. This made Huang Wenwen very angry. She was not bad at heart and immediately thought of the greatest possibility. This man was sent from another family. After having an idea, Huang Wenwen's attitude changed 180 degrees. I told you to call the police and you didn't want to. You agreed to send you to the hospital but you didn't agree to compensate me, so tell me, what do you want? Why is this business so difficult to do? The people around him were also very discerning. That's right, their store manager has already said it's up to you, so why don't you tell me what you want to do? Yes, they are willing to compensate, but you still don't agree, and you don't want to restore it to you. What do you want to do? Look, she must be here to cause trouble. I have been doing beauty treatments in this shop for a year, and my face has never been rotten. It has made my skin better. Don't talk about you, it's the same for me. I used to always have peas, but now look at them, they're very slippery. Hearing the satisfied words from the guests, Huang Wenwen was very satisfied. The woman who made the trouble became anxious when she saw that no one was on her side anymore. What do I want to do? You don't even look at what they have done. The woman who makes trouble only knows that the person is asking her to make trouble, and the bigger the trouble, the better. He didn't tell her what to do. She actually wasn't sure. Then what do you want? Some people became numb. Give me something accurate, so that the store can make decisions more easily. Those who spoke out were all old customers. Mei Xue never expected that so many people would work together to maintain this store. It seemed that she would have to come up with more good things in the future. But she believes Huang Wenwen can handle these things. Okay, tell me, what do you want? Huang Wenwen finally lost his patience. We have reported it to the police. No matter what your intentions are, it's best not to take our ideas into consideration. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 433. Chapter 433, MRS Jade. Huang Wenwen looked around. All the products in our store have certificates issued by the state. You can check these things. If there is any discrepancy, there is no need for you to trouble us. The state will be the first to stop. Someone who can run such a prosperous business must have a good mind. It's just that she is not the boss and she can't make up her mind about some things. Now that she has the support of her boss, she has nothing to worry about. The man was forced to do nothing, but fortunately the police came at this time. After questioning, the police took the person away. Of course, there were also the products provided by the woman. Huang Wenwen was not stupid and quickly brought a new set out. She was accompanied by the clerk who had just received Mei Xue. As soon as Huang Wenwen left, there was no one in charge in the store, so Mei Xue stepped forward. Okay, I've disturbed everyone today, the whole store is 20% off. She had to come out to host it. Some new customers are still a little worried. After all, they have seen with their own eyes how bad their faces are. But the old customers were not polite. Xiaojiang, please give me 10 bottles of those slimming pills, and I want 5 whitening kits. Xiao Li, I want that one and this one. Xiao Wang, help me grab it quickly, I want everything I grab. The store went crazy, and the clerks laughed. They all get commissions, so of course they would be happy if they could sell more. Everyone joins in the rush for goods. Meixue was confused. She never expected that these people would be so crazy. Some new guests were slowly infected and started to take action one by one. Basically everything on the first floor was robbed. While the items sold on the first floor are not expensive to begin with, some sets on the second floor are shockingly expensive. However, it was not let go, it was basically robbed. In the next few months, Mei Shui felt that things might not be sold. The customers in the store finally settled down. Everyone started to gossip. Do you think this person was instigated? 3 or 2 friends discussed it together. Mei Shui was not interested in listening anymore. Huang Wenwen was not in the store, so she couldn't leave, so she had to go to the 3rd floor. There were some distinguished guests upstairs who had to say hello. Those who can go up to the 3rd floor are either wives of officials or mistresses or wives of landlords. Everyone wants money and status. As a businessman, Mei Shui also had to go up and laugh with her, but there was no way because Huang Wenwen was not there. The receptionists on the 3rd floor stopped one by one when they saw the boss coming and greeted him softly. Boss, MRSU said she wants to meet you. MRSU is a person of status, and the clerk cannot refuse too much. Has your store manager seen her before? Mei Shui frowned and thought thoughtfully. The clerk shook his head. No, she just came here today and was brought by MRS Wang. MRS Wang is Wang Xiaoao's wife. When Mei Shui heard that it was Xiao Fufu's mother who brought her, she nodded. Take me there. If it was someone else, she wouldn't have to care, but this one, there was some affection in it. By the way, is MRS Wang here today? If she has something to discuss with me, it's impossible that Sister Ning won't be here. Yes, but when MRSU said she wanted to see you, MRS Wang didn't say anything, the clerk said to the boss as he walked away. Mei Shui understands. It's okay. Make me a cup of tea later. She wanted to drink water not long after breakfast. Okay. Soon they reached the innermost room. Mei Shui knocked on the door, and a voice came from inside, come in. But this voice did not belong to Sister Ning, so Mei Shui frowned. She opened the door and walked in. There was a person lying on the sofa inside. Mei Shui thought that Sister Ning would be having a beauty treatment, but she didn't expect that she was sitting there drinking tea. Sister Ning, why didn't you notify me when you came over? Mei Shui and Sister Ning were quite friendly. In addition to Xiao Fufu, the two families are quite close. Xiaoxiu, you're here, have you settled the matter downstairs? It was obvious that Ning Jin was very happy to see Mei Shui's arrival. There is nothing wrong downstairs, they are just looking for trouble, just call the police. It is the right of citizens to call the police if something happens. The man who was half lying on the sofa opened his eyes after Mei Shui came in. When she saw Mei Shui's face, hatred flashed in her eyes. Mei Shui has keen senses, and she can feel even a flash. Who is this? Mei Shui said a few words to Sister Ning and then looked at the other person. Ning Jin was very reluctant to introduce her, but she had to introduce her. She had no choice but to make her unable to compare with the Wang family. She is the daughter-in-law of the second eldest son of the Yu family. You can just call her MRSU. This introduction shows the closeness and distance. Mei Shui kept a smile on her face. Hello, MRSU. MRSU also laughed, looking fake. You are Yujiao's boss. I didn't expect that Yujiao's boss is so young. He is really young and promising. Mr. Yu took off the mask from his face. MRSU, thank you for your praise. I will be 30 soon, so I can't be considered young and promising. What does a woman who comes here value most? Of course it's the appearance. Mei Shui, who is 28 years old, is as old as 17 or 18 years old. How can she not make older women jealous? Like Ning Jin, she never talks about her age with Mei Shui, because she is only 2 years older than Mei Shui, but her appearance looks like she is 4 or 5 years older. She can't compare. MRSU is older than Ning Jin, and Yu Lao is not a dedicated person, so there are many women outside. They are all younger and more beautiful than her. If she hadn't given birth to 2 sons, I'm afraid she would have been kicked out of the house by Yu Lao Er. That's really hard to tell. MRSU smiled, I wish I were as young as you. I'm old. These words made it impossible for everyone to answer the question. But it can also be seen that this person came with a purpose. I wonder what MRSU wants from me. Mei Shui couldn't figure this out. Also, Sister Ning did not take her to the house, which proves that this person does not need to pay. He didn't tell himself the truth either, which proves that this person doesn't need to agree to anything. It's not a big deal. No, I'm getting older and want to look better. No, I've come to you for help, MRSU said seriously. Who believes it? That's simple. A new product has just come out recently. MRSU will have to give it a try. Firming the skin is not a problem. There are also body shaping pills. MRSU can buy a few when she arrives. Bottle back. Mei Shui obviously added the word "buy" when she said it. I don't know what her state of mind is. Oh, bodybuilding pills, that's what I need now. The smile kept on his face, but his heart was about to tear the man in front of him into pieces. What does it matter? Just give her money. She can't beat Mei Shui anyway. Mei Shui feels her bad intentions, but she is not afraid. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 434. Chapter 434, Send Away. Yes, MRSU looks like she is 50. She needs to take good care of her skin, not only on her face, but also on her body. Mei Shui never knew that she could be so eloquent. Ning Jin was just like when she met Xiaoxiu for the first time. She wanted to laugh but didn't dare. She still had a sip of tea in her mouth and couldn't spit it out. She swallowed hard and wanted to hit someone. Finally swallowing the tea in his mouth, Ning Jin started to joke, then you are wrong. Yu Fu is never much older than me. You, stop hiding it and take out everything. He did not forget to glare at Mei Shui, meaning to tell her to take it easy. Don't offend people to death. It's done. Mei Shui agreed very happily. It just so happens that there is an event in the store today, with a 20% discount on the whole store. Madam Yu, don't miss it. You won't have this opportunity next time. Just then, the clerk came in after making tea. The tea you asked for, boss. Mei Shui drinks the medicinal tea prepared in her own space. Even if it is medicine, it has a very refreshing fragrance. You can tell it is good when you smell it. Well, leave it here. By the way, help MRSU get the products on the 3rd floor later. She can use them just right at this age. Also, remember to use the jade body pills for MRSU. Look at the skin on her body. There's no luster at all. Mei Shui is really not afraid of people off. The clerk was stupid. Boss, aren't you afraid of being beaten to death? Looking at the clerk's gesturing look, Mei Shui immediately understood. By the way, I haven't asked MRSU yet, do you plan to make a full set today? MRSU was almost going crazy from the rebuke. Her main purpose of coming here today is to buy their beauty prescriptions, it seems now. Oh, I'd like to trouble you to make arrangements. No matter how dissatisfied she felt, she still endured it. That's it, I'll make arrangements for you right now. Mei Shui stood up, not forgetting to pick up her teacup. Sister Ning, do you want to take a rest in the office? You can't finish everything here in a short while, Mei Shui invited. When MRSU heard this, how could she keep anyone in the room? Go, I know you sisters have something to talk about. Mei Shui was too lazy to pay attention to her. She loves dealing with these people the most. One sentence has 3 or 4 meanings. Are you tired? That's fine, I'll go over and sit down. You'll be here for a few hours. After saying that, Mei Shui took Sister Ning out of the private room. When MRSU was alone in the room, she threw everything on the side to the ground, with hatred in her eyes. What, if I didn't like that little thing about you, would you be worthy of talking to me? People, don't think too highly of yourself. The clerk quickly packed up the things and came over and started serving MRSU. Mei Shui and Ning Jin entered the office and closed the door. They both breathed a sigh of relief. After looking at each other, the two laughed. It seems that Sister Ning is very tired. No, I don't know where she got so much confidence. She feels that everyone has to give in to her. If Ning Jin hadn't been asked by her parents to accompany her, she would have been too lazy to pay attention. Her family gave it to me. Okay, Sister Ning, please tell me which family this MRS Jade belongs to. There are several families named you in the Jade family in Kyoto. Ning Jin didn't hide anything and told Mei Shui everything he knew. After hearing this, Mei Shui was speechless. So, she is jealous of my business. In the end, Mei Shui only knew why she came. No, your Yujiao family is famous in Kyoto. Who wouldn't be jealous? If you hadn't given me a discount, I would have been jealous. This is true, things are not only expensive but also difficult to buy. If old customers don't bring them here, they may not do your business. It is expensive, but the effect is unmatched by many domestic and foreign brands. Of course, more people are still using Yashuang. Are you still jealous? Mei Shui was speechless. Is it because there is less of something for you, or maybe I overcharged you? That's not true, but if you do business like this, how can you not make people jealous? Of course she understands how kind Xiaoxiu is to herself. I understand even more clearly that I owe it to my daughter. Then there's nothing you can do about it, you're born with it, Mei Shui said with a proud smile. Yu Ningjin smiled and shook his head, but having said that, you should still be careful about the daughter-in-law of some Yu Lao Er, she is not a kind person. Then you think I'm kind? Mei Shui rolled her eyes. It's best not to have any evil thoughts towards me, otherwise I won't mind helping Yu Lao Er teach his daughter-in-law. Sure, you can do it, you're great, I won't tell you this anymore, just think about it yourself. She figured it out. This man was very confident. But that's right, considering the weight of those few people, it's not a problem to walk sideways in Kyoto. Last time she heard Lao Wang mention that the He family was not a simple person. By the way, I'm planning to visit you in a few days. I heard that you have established a vegetable base. Ning Jin was very interested in this matter. Well, the ground hasn't been plowed yet, so we have to wait. It's too cold in Kyoto and the soil is still frozen. I don't know how many months it will take for rice to mature here. Doesn't that mean that this year Kyoto will be able to eat the dishes you gave me last time? Because of Xiao Fufu, her family often brought back food from the He family to eat. Everything is an eye-opener for them. Even if they buy the same thing from outside, the taste will not be half as good. Mei Shui shook her head, not necessarily. There is no comparison between this place and Shenzhen City. The weather over there is much better. I'm afraid we can't grow many vegetables here. Mei Shui felt that she had to find Mr. Hua here in Kyoto. At that time, I will ask him to bring Uncle Shen over. He is more familiar with Kyoto. The taste must be better than the food bought from the market. Ning Jin was just like the old man and the others at the beginning. After eating his food, he could no longer eat the food bought from the market. That's for sure. Otherwise, why would my vegetables be so expensive? Do you think it's just a random shouting? Mei Shui snorted at her with a smile. I don't care. Anyway, after you finish cooking, you have to provide it to my family for a long time. Don't worry, Lao Wang is not short of money. Ning Jin looked like a shameless person. The relationship is good, I will definitely charge half of the high price when the time comes. Mei Shui also joked. It's a pity that it's okay to eat it, but Jian Xiang's side gives her a big headache. After all, this guy has opened a store, and now both bases can hardly supply him. Not only was he anxious, Mei Shui was also anxious for him. Fortunately, the Gu family stopped their business. But speaking of it, more than half a year has passed and there is still no news from the Gu family. I don't know what the situation is now. Every time I called, I couldn't say a few words. I just asked them to help take care of me for a few more days. However, one can tell that their life is not going to be easy either. Mei Shui was busy in the store until Huang Wenwen came back. After asking her, Mei Shui went back. She also asked Huang Wenwen not to come to her for such matters in the future, she believed she could handle it. Huang Wenwen was so angry that he almost resigned. Fortunately, Mei Shui calmed the person down with food. Not only did MRSU not get the answer she wanted, but she also spent a lot of money. This made her furious. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 435. Chapter 435, Shi Weiken. However, this is not important, because Mei Shui has never been to the store since that time. Huang Wenwen is a part-time worker, so she can't make the final decision on some things, even if MRSU buys them at a high price. Unfortunately, these things are in Mei Shui's own hands. Employees are just tools. On May Day, Hua Tongfang got married, and Mei Shui took the children and grandma to Hua's house early. The children are quite big, so she doesn't have to worry too much, but grandma is worried. She is a Quanfu old man today and has too many things to do. With her is Grandma Xiu. Grandma Lin is the head of the house today and can't do this job. Grandma He was very excited about this job. When she was in the village, everyone thought she was a bit unlucky. Of course, now she can't even ask for anything. Hua Tongfang got married, but it was the first time that the old lady became a Quanfu old man. The old lady was so sincere in her work. The whole process was well arranged for him. Even the Hua family members can't stand it. This old lady is so down to earth. Fortunately, everyone is familiar with each other and no one is treated as an outsider. Grandma, just take a rest for a while, you will have to sing a wedding later. Mei Shui was really worried about her grandma. Grandma He is busy at work, but she is very fulfilled. It's okay, it's good for your health to be active. We'll all be back to work when the bride takes her home. Seeing that grandma was so happy, Mei Shui swallowed down no matter how much she tried to persuade her. I can only stay with my grandma silently. Hua Tongfang's parents came back this time, but they were in a hurry. They had to leave after drinking tea with their wife for a while. There was nothing they could do about it. The woman's family also understands this very well. About 10 o'clock, Hua Tongfang finally took the bride home. When firecrackers went off outside, people of all sizes gathered around. Mr. Hua and the people in his hospital are all engaged in scientific research, and there are many new tricks. Fortunately, the Hua family also has juniors to carry it, otherwise it would not have been possible for so many people to make trouble. Welcome to the church, old man Quanfu shouted, and everyone had to make way. Worship the heaven and the earth. Hua Tongfang supported his wife and bowed 90 degrees to the outside. 2 bows to the high hall. Kneel down and bow to your parents. The bride changed her words and said, Dad, please have tea. Mom, please have some tea. The second elder took out the red envelope and handed it directly to the bride. The couple worship each other. Sent into the bridal chamber. It was still early for the wedding, and she had to go to the hotel later, so it was just a ceremony. The bride and groom went back to the house to change clothes, and then left for the hotel soon. The hotel we booked this time was at the Kyoto Hotel because of the status of the old man and the others. Mr. Hwa's eyes turned red when he saw his grandson getting married. Everyone thought he was sad that his grandson would marry someone else, but the old man said something shocking. "Wow, I can finally hold my great-grandson." So, a group of old men directly isolated him and violently abused him. The old ladies were very happy. They were all talking around the bride, and they were even talking about the dowry given by the bride's family. They were not shy at all. "No, I don't know what that girl thinks with so many things, she's not afraid of her brother and sister-in-law being angry," Grandma Lin said with a showy look. "You can't really blame her." Among the group of people, her granddaughter-in-law brought the most dowry, and she always gained face. Those who saw it in the courtyard had their eyes shining brightly. "There are only 2 cars." Mixue listened without making a sound, but Grandma he was still chatting happily. The young people went to the hotel first. Mei Shui wanted to accompany the old lady, so she didn't go there so early. But the children wanted to go over and play, so Mei Shui asked Jian Xiang and the others to keep an eye on them. "Who told the children's father to take a big order from the company today? He couldn't leave for a while." Mei Shui was not interested in his business matters, and she did not interfere too much, but she knew that if the business was successful, the long-distance shipping would be able to go international. This is a big step. The wedding in the Hua family was very lively, so lively that no one knew who said what. After lunch, everyone went home. "We were going to Hua's house for dinner, but Mei Shui was not happy. The old lady also had a busy day and was very tired, so she didn't go." As soon as Hua Tongfang's marriage was over, Mr. Shi's family was also very busy. Since Grandma Xiu and Grandma He were busy with Hua Tongfang's wedding, they handed over Shi Weikan's affairs directly to them without any courtesy at all. Shi Zongguo and Ma Wenli are also too busy due to work reasons, but fortunately there are old ladies here. When the Hua family learned that the Shi family was going to hold a wedding, Uncle Hua's nose was so angry that he was so angry. "Tell me about you. It's fate between them that my little sister can be with him again. You can't let your little sister stay at home all her life," Aunt Hua said speechlessly when she saw him like this. "I know you are reluctant to let go of my little sister, but it's not like I won't come back after getting married. She can come back if she wants to. If you want, my little sister can go to Kyoto to see her." No matter what Aunt Hua tried to persuade him, Uncle Hua never showed a smile on his face. Hua Hankyu and Hua both laughed when they saw their father acting like this. "Dad, if you are reluctant to let go of your aunt, then our family will also buy a house in Kyoto, and then we can live together." Hua is also very reluctant to let go of her aunt. Hua Hankyu is older and knows what getting married is like. "Dad, we have to prepare to go to Kyoto, otherwise my aunt will be sad if she misses her wedding." With the help of his 2 children to persuade him, Uncle Hua finally remembered the business. "Humph, the Shi family is so capable that they married off the girl from my Hua family. Humph." Actually, Shi Weikan and the others had no plans to get married soon. They had to at least wait until the 2 families had a meal together and formally got acquainted before discussing marriage matters. But plans don't change as quickly as they should. Because of the external reason of painting autumn smoke, the 2 of them took many steps forward. In April, Shi Weikan and Hua Tongfang have been looking for differences with Xiao and others. It would be nice to see what went wrong with the prescription. After they found the problem and handed over the medicine, while the company was celebrating together, Hua Kaiyan took action here. Hua Kaiyan used the most direct method, which was to drug Shi Weikan. But she didn't expect that Xiao would directly know her plan. "What are you doing?" Originally thinking that Uncle Shi was drunk, he wanted to come up and tell Uncle Shi that he had taken his brother home first. "I just didn't expect to meet a woman when I came up." Seeing her in Uncle Shi's house, Xiao was very defensive. He had heard of such a situation from his uncle. Isn't that what his father was like back then? What are you doing here? Hua Qiuyan breathed a sigh of relief when she saw a child. She thought it was Hua Tongfang who came over. She found this opportunity because there were so many people at the company party today. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 436. Chapter 436, Hua Family. Because she was on guard against Hua Tongfang, fearing that he might ruin her good fortune, she found a few acquaintances to hold him back. I just didn't expect to be bumped into by a child in the end. It's not important that I can't get through, but what are you doing here? You know, Uncle Shi is Hua Nianchen's father. A woman comes to his room. What does she want to do? I'm here to take care of Weiken. I saw that he drank too much. Hua Qiuyan just wanted to get rid of him quickly, otherwise she wouldn't be able to deceive the child once the medicine took effect. In this way, with Xiao's participation, Hua Qiuyan was finally taken away, and Shi Weiken was also drugged. The final result is that he and Hua Ziqian are together again. The marriage of the two was settled at the urging of the old man. As soon as Hua Tongfang's wedding was completed, the historians began to prepare. The person Shi Weiken personally went to pick up when the Hua family came to Kyoto. Uncle Hua didn't have a good look on him. Shi Weiken knew that he was wrong, so he continued everything. Hua Ziqian was very happy to see him like this. Where are we going now? Uncle Hua asked immediately as soon as he got in the car. We can't take them back to the historian now. Shi Weiken started the car and smiled. Let's go to Ziqian's place first. Our two families will have dinner together tomorrow. Of course, I also know that it is a bit rough, so please forgive me. He was so nervous that he held the steering wheel tightly with both hands and did not dare to move his body. Let alone start the car, it's like waiting for the person behind to say something. Aunt Hua pulled Uncle Hua and said, "Stop making trouble and listen to them," she whispered softly in his ear. After talking about her man, Aunt Hua looked at Shi Weiken with a smile on her face. This man looked really like Nian Chen. We all listen to you, just look at the arrangements. The main reason is that we are too pressed for time and we were not able to prepare in Kyoto. Who would have thought that my little sister would get married just a little over a month after arriving in the mainland? That's it, let's go to Ziqian's side first. After saying that, Shi Weiken smiled at Mrs. Hua, thanking her for her help. Seeing his pretentious behavior, Uncle Hua's heart started to get angry. Just when he was about to say something, he was stopped by his wife and son. He felt that there were no good people in the world, and everyone in his family had rebelled. Hua Ziqian, who was sitting in front, saw all this and was very grateful to her sister-in-law and nephew. Nervously, he drove the car back to the place where Hua Ziqian lived. After the old man met Hua Ziqian for the first time, Shi Weiken helped the two of them change their residences. The main reason is that it is too small, and he feels that he has wronged his lover and children. Hua Nianchen did have some opinions on this matter, but unfortunately, as soon as he entered the Shi family, he could never leave. The old man made him stay at home with him every day because of his mischief. Even when he went to school, the old man would pick him up and drop him off personally. After getting her mother's consent, Hua Nianchen couldn't refuse the love of an old man. After arriving at the place, Uncle Hua looked at the surrounding environment and finally showed his first smile. This kid has a conscience. They were not short of money, and they were not short of such a house, but he was still very happy to see him place his little sister here. Brother, let's go upstairs first. It's windy outside. Kyoto is much colder than Xiongguo. Hua Ziqian was a little worried that her eldest brother and his family would not be able to adapt to the weather in Kyoto. They were all wearing very thin clothes. That's right, Dad, let's go upstairs quickly, I'm so cold, Hua coquettishly said. Shi Weiken brought everyone salutes, there were so many, it seemed that he had to come here several times. At this time, he really regretted not listening to Brother Wang's words. It would be a good idea to buy a villa. Alas, regret. Upstairs, Mr. Shi and his family have been waiting for a long time. Why haven't you come yet? Nian Chen, go to the window and see if your uncle and the others have arrived. The old man felt a little nervous. Ma Wenli and Shi Zongguo felt very relaxed and kept chatting with Nian Chen. This is not the first time Ma Wenli has met her grandson, but her grandson is so good that she can't get enough of him. From now on, she no longer has to envy other people for having grandchildren. This is the first time Shi Zongguo has met his grandson, and he can't finish talking. No, the three of them directly ignored the old man, and the old man kept looking for words to interrupt the three of them. Oh, let me go and take a look. Hua Nianchen heard his wife calling him, responded and walked towards the window. His house is not high, only 9 floors. He lives on the top floor and can see the scenery below at a glance. Here it comes, madam, uncle and the others are here. Hua Nianchen was very excited when she saw her familiar relatives. He has been playing with Xiaopeng and the others for a long time these days, and his temperament has also changed a lot. There are a lot of jumps. Hurry, Zongguo, open the door quickly. I'll go to the kitchen to cook the last 2 dishes. They will come here early in the morning and must be hungry. As soon as Ma Wenli heard that people had arrived, she immediately made arrangements. Hey, I'll go right away. Hearing that his in-laws were coming, he immediately stood up and opened the door. The elevator was very fast. The first person to come out was Shi Weikan. When Shi Zongguo saw him, he pushed him aside. The force was quite strong, and he almost fell down. Fortunately, Hua Nianchen stepped forward to give him a hand. Thank you, Nianchen. Hua Nianchen hasn't even spoken to call him dad yet. He nodded as a response. Oh, dear, it's been really you this time. Come on, get in the house, there's a lot of work going on outside. Shi Zongguo seemed like a different person, not at all in line with his status as a teacher. He is not wearing a military uniform today, but casual clothes. Needless to say, in his current state, he does not look like an official at all. Thank you, it's nothing hard after all. He is an elder, but Uncle Hua is still very measured. Shi Weikan saw all the changes in Uncle Hua, which was a grievance. Looking at Hua Ziqian pitifully, as if complaining. People around the sore toothache. Shi Zongguo led his relatives into the house. You guys sit down first. You have to fly early in the morning and haven't eaten yet. Your aunt is cooking, so you can eat soon. After saying that, Shi Zongguo shouted into the kitchen again, Wenli, move faster, don't starve your in-laws and uncles. Ma Wenli walked out of the kitchen directly, still holding a spatula in her hand. It'll be ready soon. You guys just sit down and drink some tea. Finally recognized a familiar face. Hello, Grandpa Shi, I am Hua Ziqian's eldest brother. My name is Hua Ziyu. This is my lover, Hu Ruyun. These two are my unworthy children. After brother Hua sat down, he immediately asked the old man how he was. Hello, how can you not be angry? How old are they? You can't say this, don't upset the children. The old man likes children. When he sees someone saying that the children are not good, he immediately stops working. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 437. Chapter 437, Go to his house. The old man didn't care about his identity, he was just like an ordinary elder, very cordial. Hua Hankaiu and Hua Du were sitting next to their cousin. When their parents introduced themselves, they stood up immediately. Hello, MRSC, I am Hua Hankyu. Hello, MRSC, I'm Hua. Needless to say, these two people are really well educated. Be good, be good, be good. The old man really likes these two children. They look really good. Especially that girl, she is like a little flower, her facial features have all the advantages of her parents. The more I look at her, the more I like her. The old man took 4 big red envelopes from his arms. Here, this is the meeting gift my wife gave you, take it first. He handed 2 small red envelopes to the two of them. The two of them glanced at their parents. Seeing their parents nodding, they happily took it and glanced at their cousin with a showy look. Huan Nianchen rolled his eyes and said softly, I have one too. The old man still had 2 more in his hand, so without saying anything, he handed them directly to Uncle Hua and the others. Here, these are yours. Seeing that the old man is so attentive, there is nothing for the two of them to say no to. The parents of the Hua family are gone. As the head of the Hua family, he is also a junior in front of the old man. Even if the historians elevate him, the junior will always be the junior. Not only the old man, Shi Zongguo also took out 4 red envelopes. Uncle, I have some here too, here you go. After giving it to an adult, the child's cannot be left behind either. It can make Hua Hankyu and Huaxi very happy. Thank you, Grandpa, the two said in unison. You're welcome, you're welcome. Put it away quickly. I'll let Nian Chen take you out for a walk later and buy something you like, Shi Zongguo said with a smile on his face. Everyone was very happy when we met for the first time. This meal is not considered a formal meal. I plan to go to the hotel for a formal meal tomorrow. Today I am mainly worried that they will be tired. After a while, the work in the kitchen was finally finished. Ma Wenli brought out the food and said, come over and eat. Let's go have a meal. Don't be dissatisfied with the common meal. The old man took the lead and stood up. No, no, we haven't tasted the taste of hometown for a long time. Uncle Hua had already smelled the fragrance. No matter how good the food is in Zhongguo, it still tastes different from the food at home. Then eat more today. Shi Zongguo took out the wine he had prepared early. These wines were given to him by Zioxiu during the Chinese New Year, and he was not willing to drink them on weekdays. The old man has drank more than half of his drink, but he still has a lot of bottles left. Seeing the wine in his son's hand, the old man became anxious. Why are you so stingy? Just bring out a jar like this. He was worried that this guy's wine would not last for a day or two, but when he arrived, he actually took all the wine to the army. What a bastard. This wine is made by Mei Shui herself, so the packaging is mainly simple. From the outside, it doesn't look like Zhaiming wine, but the effect of that wine is hard to find. Seeing that his father was still thinking about his wine, Shi Zongguo was not angry. Don't worry, I will take care of you enough for today. Heavy bleeding. That's a good relationship. The old man was happy and immediately called Huaziu. Come on, have a drink with me today. Huaziu didn't know, but he also knew that the wine used to entertain them would definitely be good, but he didn't recognize it. Huan Nianchen finally knew something and whispered a few words in his uncle's ear. After hearing this, Uncle Hua also became excited. Sorry for the expense. Nianchen can tell you that this kind of wine cannot be bought outside. It is a good thing and good for your health. It is something that the old man himself is reluctant to drink. It's okay, it's okay. Let Weiken go get it when you finish drinking. If you don't come back, he won't come back. Dad, she didn't forget to trick his son. Shi Weiken opened his mouth, then closed his mouth when he saw his father's face. Ma Wenli went back to her room, changed some clothes, and then came out to sit down and have dinner with everyone. Also took out 4 red envelopes, one for each person. After thanking each other, everyone started eating and drinking. Needless to say, Uncle Hua felt the difference in the wine after taking the first sip of the wine. Old man, this is a medicine bar. There was a lot of medicine in it, and he could feel it after one sip. "Drink it up," the old man said proudly, "I'm telling you." So Balabala told Hwaziu about Mei Shui's wine. He really didn't mean to show off. Everyone was very satisfied with the meal. Today is the end of the week. After dinner, Hua asked Nian Chen to take her out to play. Hua Nian Chen is of course no problem. But the old man didn't trust them and asked Xiao He to pick them up and follow them out to play. In the car, Hua Hankai looked at her cousin who had changed a lot, with a questioning look on his face. "Nian Chen, have you made friends in Kyoto? It has become a habit for an older brother to take care of his younger siblings. The change in my cousin is good, but he is worried about the people he makes friends with." "Well, he's my classmate. His name is He Shipeng. The wine my uncle drank today was made by his mother. Grandpa's wine was also given by Aunt Shui." Speaking of his friends, Hua Nian Chen was so excited. "How about we ask him to hang out with us?" Hua knew her eldest brother too well. He was a bad eldest brother, but she also knew that his eldest brother wanted to get to know his cousin's friends. Of course Hua Nian Chen had no objection. "Uncle He, let's go to Aunt Shui's house." He was still thinking about some excuse to ask He Shipeng to come out to play. After hearing what Nian Chen said, Xiao He immediately laughed. "Xiao Peng will definitely thank you very much." He knew that the children of the He family were under the care of Mr. Wu. "Yeah, I don't know if I will meet Mrs. Wu." Hua Nianchen's body trembled a little when he thought of the stern Mrs. Wu. Hua Hankai was a little confused. "What's wrong?" Hua Nianchen and her cousin began to complain about Mrs. Wu. He worked hard enough in school, but after arriving here, he realized how happy he was before. Hua is a person who doesn't like to study very much. As soon as she heard her cousin's words, she retreated a little. "How about not going today?" she asked weakly. "No, let's go, but we have to buy something later, so we can't go home empty-handed." "No, you are all children. There is no need for this. The He family is very kind." Xiao He heard their discussion and immediately interrupted them. "You will have a lot of fun playing with Mrs. He." Xiao He has been in contact with the He family for a long time, and he knows what the He family is like. "Well, let's listen to Uncle He." Soon, they arrived at Haoerhe. When they saw the environment here, Hua made a fuss about getting off the car. "Let's go in, these alleys are very interesting, brother. Look, there are people selling candied haws on there. Everybody, please vote." End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 438. Chapter 438, Identity. After seeing many shops around, I couldn't walk along the street. Xiao He also knew that the children loved to play, so he parked the car aside and said, "Get off the car from here. It won't take long to walk there." Hua Hankai and Hua Nianchen certainly don't have any objections. They can just buy more delicious food and take them there. The flowers bloomed as soon as we got off the car. She wanted to eat this and buy that. Her stomach felt like it had been emptied after just finishing the meal. It took them almost 40 minutes to walk all the way to the door of his house. They really had a great time. Hua Hankai also felt a little embarrassed. "Cousin, take it, I'll knock on the door with one hand free." Hua Nianchen stepped forward and knocked on the door. The sound of dong dong is very loud. Just when Hua Hankai was about to ask him to be gentle, a voice came from inside. "Who is it?" "Wait a minute," the voice of an old lady. "It's Mrs. He." Upon hearing Mrs. He's voice, Hua Nianchen immediately picked out a bag from her cousin's hand. "Cousin, give it to me." Grandma He happened to be drying the quilt in the courtyard. The sun was unusually strong today and the wind had calmed down a bit, so it was just right to dry the quilt. After cooling the quilt in her hand, the old lady quickly ran towards the door. Opening the door, "Hey, it's Nian Chen. Come in quickly." Just now, Mrs. Wu was saying why you didn't come over today. When the old lady saw Nian Chen, she immediately said with a smile. Hua Nian Chen stopped laughing after hearing her words. Madam, we won't go in. Wow, he didn't want to be caught. That's not possible. Why don't we come in and sit at the door of our house? Who are these two, Grandma? He asked with a smile when she saw the two strangers. Madam, they are my cousins, Hua Han Kaiu and Hua Nian Chen introduced. Hello, Mrs. He. The two of them greeted politely. Especially the pretty little girl, she is very cute no matter how you look at her. Be good, be good, be good, come in quickly and wait until you come in. My wife is drying herself in bed. The old lady opened the door and let them in. Seeing Xiao He behind them, the old lady smiled. What are you doing? There are so many bags. Come as soon as you come. Don't be polite. The old lady made fun of Xiao He. Old Mrs. He, please stop being rude to me and let me in quickly. These three little brats bought too much. Xiao He looked aggrieved and regretful. If I had known better, I would not have stopped the car. Hua Nian Chen and the others were very embarrassed. I'm sorry, Uncle He. Haha, it's okay, it's okay. Xiao He only has the strength to get something. It's not heavy. It's not heavy. The old lady took the initiative to step forward and help get it. Three children have a lot of money. In this way, a group of people walked to the front yard and living room. You guys sit down first, and my wife will get you some water. No, don't bother, madam. The three of them stood up immediately, wondering where the elders could pour themselves water. It's okay, it's okay. The old lady happily went to bring water. Since they were children, they were not given tea and drank warm water directly. Hua Nian Chen had something in her hand and had the opportunity to offer a treasure. Here, madam, these are all bought for you. There are some high sugar things in it, such as horse rolling and so on. Hey, Nian Chen is so nice. I still remember that my wife likes sweets. Grandma. He happily accepted it. After resting for a while, everyone heard the noise in the backyard. Why didn't you go to Mrs. Wu's house today? Hua Nian Chen was trembling a little. Oh, Mrs. Wu is a greedy person. He said he wanted to come over for dinner, so he can give Xiao and the others extra lessons without having to run back and forth. That old man is delicious. Fortunately, Xiaoxiu, Grandma Xiu, is here too, otherwise she would not let him in. Xiaoxiu and the others are not at home today. She is busy cooking for so many people, right? Hearing this reason, Hua Nian Chen smiled. The ladies seemed to like coming to Mrs. He's house for dinner, but the food they cooked was indeed delicious. Fortunately, they came out after lunch. Let's go, I'll take you over there. The class should be over in a while. I'll give you homework in the afternoon, so I'm not busy. Hua Nian Chen didn't want to go, so he asked, is the class over? At this point, it should be over, right? How could Grandma He not know what he was thinking? Don't worry, it's over. If it's so noisy now, it must be your Mrs. Wu who is teaching Xiao Cheng a lesson. Xiao Cheng is a real headache. You could say he's lazy. His grades are always in the top 3 of his age, but he just doesn't do his homework. At school, there was Xiao Fufu who helped him write, but if it was still like this at home, didn't he just need to be beaten? That's good, let's go. The backyard is smaller than the front yard, but because Mei Shui puts some water in the space from time to time, the flowers, plants and trees here grow well. As soon as I came in, I smelled a strong fragrance of flowers, especially those flowers that were in bloom. The flowers liked it very much, and ran directly into the flower field without saying a word. The old lady looked at her without calling her and let her play. The little girl is so pretty. Nian Chen, is she your uncle's daughter? How old is she? The old lady said with a gossipy face. Hua Nian Chen didn't hide it either. My cousin is about the same age as brother Xiao, and her birthday is in November, so she is a month younger than brother Xiao. The old lady was happy after hearing this. I'm 14, yes, yes, I'm a big girl. She calculated the true meaning in her heart as, is there anyone else? The words were shocking. Ah, Mrs. My cousin is still young. Hua Nianchen was a little confused. Hua Hankai was also confused. Mrs. Is this too big of a jump? Yes, she's still young. Let's go and let her play here. The flowers here have only bloomed recently. When we arrived at the study room in the backyard, sure enough, Xiao Cheng was being whipped by Mr. Wu. You brat, you dare not do the homework I assigned you. Let's see if I don't beat you to death today anyway. Your mother said it's her fault to beat you to death. Looking at the old man's attitude, he is really angry. Xiao Cheng is not afraid of Mrs. Wu beating him, but in front of so many people, doesn't he want to lose face? But I know all these things, why should I write? It's so tiring to write, Xiao Cheng said sharply. Humph, you have to write for me after we meet, and I will write as I say. The old man cherishes the truth, but he prefers to criticize others. It is well known in school. It will be fine if you are softer. The more you do the opposite, the more energetic he will be as he gets older. Many people have learned to behave like babies in front of him. Only Xiao Cheng can challenge him now. Of course, the old man will become happier the more he teaches him. Xiao Peng and the others distanced themselves from their silly brother, and the movements of their hands became faster and faster. The characters are getting uglier and uglier. They just want to get away from here quickly. It's so scary, you pig teammates. Gu Jiaren's homework is different from theirs. The most important thing for her now is to review and write test papers. The old man has already made arrangements for her. Gu Jiaja is still a freshman in high school, and he is about the same as Xiao and the others. End of this chapter. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 439. Chapter 439, Identity 01. Xiao Cheng is stupid and can't see that he has more homework than all of them. As soon as the old lady came over, she heard that his great-grandson was going to be beaten to death. How could she do it? Old man Wu, what are you doing? If you dare to beat my great-grandson to death, I will beat you to death. Well, here comes the one you can't afford to offend. Who is the most intolerable person in the He family? Of course it's the old lady of the He family. Sister He, please don't mess up. After hearing the sound, Mr. Wu put down the stick in his hand. Who is your eldest sister? You are older than you, so I call you eldest sister. Well, these two had a quarrel. Grandma Xiu directly asked the children to go out, let's go and play. There is still one day tomorrow. Just remember to finish writing. Especially Xiao, you and Gao Ji should prepare for the high school knowledge. It will be helpful for you in the future college entrance examination. Help. When Grandma Xiu spoke, everyone ran out excitedly. The same goes for Lian Xiao and Gao Ji. They waved their hands and said, let's go, don't let Mrs. Wu react. Otherwise, I won't be able to rest in the afternoon. What should I do if I have a cheating brother? Sold him. A large group of people came out of the house. Hua Hankai was dumbfounded, they have so many children. Hua Nianchen shook his head, no, there are 3 more from the Gu family. There seems to be something going on at home, so let them stay at the He family. He doesn't know much. Well, the He family seems to be in good condition, and a few more people won't be a big deal. Seeing a familiar person come out, Hua Nianchen immediately called out, He Shipeng, He Shipeng. As soon as Xiao Peng came out, he saw Hua Nianchen calling him and immediately ran over, why are you here? I took my cousins out to play. I'm not too familiar with Kyoto, so I'm here to see you. Please take us to play. Xiao Peng looked back and saw his eldest brother staring at him, shrinking his neck. Let me ask, eldest brother. Why don't you ask brother Xiao to come with us? Hua Nianchen was actually a little afraid of brother Xiao. Xiao's temperament has become much colder since he was kidnapped last time. Except for his own family, he is cold to everyone, as if someone owes him money. I even add 2 hours to my martial arts training time on weekdays. An extra hour in the morning, and another hour of medicine practice in the evening. The eldest brother may not go. The eldest brother now loves not to go out. The most I can do is go to Uncle Hickson's place to play with the computer. It's okay, let's go ask. The two were discussing there, and Hua Hankai had already noticed the person standing in front of them. He was full of aura, but his eyes were very defensive. He had only seen this kind of look when Nian Chen was a child. At that time, Nian Chen was bullied in school and was beaten by several classmates. His temperament became very silent after that. But the person in front of me doesn't look like the lord who was bullied. How could such a situation happen? Hua Hankai, who was only 15 years old, couldn't figure it out, but under the influence of his cousin, he was a little more patient with such people. Because there was someone we didn't know at home, so we all got to know each other under Hua Nianchen's introduction. It's not impossible to go out to play, but where do you want to go? It's not allowed to play too late or too late. Upon hearing that they were going out to play, Xiao said with a frown. When Hua Hankai heard what he said, she knew that he didn't want to go with them. How could this happen? Aren't you coming with us? Xiao was stunned and quickly shook his head. No, my wife and the others are at home, I don't worry. When I heard this, I thought, well, there are only 3 old people at home, so this can't be done. How about we not go out to play today, let's play in the backyard, Xiaopeng said. Compared with friends and family, he values his family more. Mom said, Madam and the others are very young and cannot live without someone by their side. Then we won't go out and stay at home with my wife and the others. Several other people also agreed with this idea. Hua Nianchen was very embarrassed and said, Cousin. He looked at his cousin. Hua Hankai shook his head, it's okay. I think their backyard is pretty good too. We bought a lot of things. It's the same as bringing them over to eat together. Actually, Hua Hankai agrees with their approach. When the adults in the family are not at home, they have to take good care of the elderly at home. Okay, if it's not enough, we can buy some from outside. When playing, it doesn't actually matter about the place, but mainly about the people. After the children chose a good place, they started building one by one. The 3 old men and Xiao Cheng in the study looked at each other. I've said enough, eldest sister, why don't I stop whipping him? In the end, the old man was defeated. But the old lady didn't mean it that way. No, old man Wu, I didn't say I wouldn't let you beat me. You should just keep beating me. What I mean is that you can beat me to death and save your breath. Xiao Cheng felt that he must have picked it up. Brother, just forget about them abandoning him, and now my wife is doing the same. He misses little Fufu so much. Little Fufu is the only one in the world who treats him well. She helps him with his homework every day and brings him breakfast. Even if he thinks those breakfasts are terrible. Mei Shui didn't know what her son was thinking, otherwise she would have packed it up and sent it directly to the Wang family. This son was sent to them. She has many sons, including this one. The sound of hilarity outside soon spread to the house, and Xiao Chen was really excited to watch. It's a pity that the ladies won't let him go. Time passed quickly. By the time Xiao Chen came out, everyone had almost eaten, and no one was left for him. The old lady saw the group of children in the yard, especially the little girl from the flower family. They were so lovely. Grandma Xiu, who was walking next to Grandma He, saw that the old sisters were looking straight in the eyes, and joked, What, you have fallen in love with this little girl? No, look at how good it is for her and Xiao to stand together. Grandma He didn't hide it either. Grandma Xiu also looked at her seriously. She said, Xiao is good looking, and this girl is not bad either. The two of them standing together are really pleasing to the eye. Yes, yes, do you think it would be good for our family to go to Hwa's house to propose marriage now? The old lady felt very itchy. Grandma Xiu rolled her eyes at the old sister and said, "Come on, don't even look at how talented she is, so you don't get kicked out by them when the time comes." If her family had such a little granddaughter, she would not want to be taken away early. That's right, she is Nianchen's cousin anyway, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future, haha, the old lady was thinking in her mind. Seeing that it was almost 4:30, Xiao He became a little anxious. "Nianchen, let's go home. Your parents will be worried soon." It was rare for Xiao He to stay at his house for a whole day. "If you don't go back, let's play for a while." It turned out that they were playing marbles on the ground, and they were so excited that they directly damaged a large piece of turf. Hearing this, Xiao He felt embarrassed. In fact, he didn't want to go back. He was alone in the dormitory, so he might as well stay here. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. 80s, The Farmer's Wife is the Boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 440. Chapter 440, Used to Noisy. You have to call the old man if you don't want to go back. Based on his understanding of the old man, he would definitely bring the whole family over for a meal. Upon hearing this, Hua Nianchen got up from the ground. "Wait a minute, I'll make a call." Fortunately, Hua Hankaiu and the others are not here at this time, and the ones playing marbles are children around 10 years old. The older friends have already started playing on their own, so the computers at home shouldn't be too fun. When Hua Nianchen came to the living room in the front yard, she saw Mrs. picking vegetables there. "Madam, I don't want to go back today, can I have dinner at home?" Before making a phone call, he still had to obtain the host's consent. In the past, the old lady would definitely not have wished for it, but today it is different. "Okay, you will be fine if you live here." After getting the approval letter, Hua Nianchen was so happy. "Thank you, madam. I'll call my mother right now." Jumping up to the phone, hand dialed my mother's mobile phone directly. On the other side of the phone, everyone who was worried about why the children were still alive immediately picked up the phone as soon as they heard it ringing. "How come this is Grandma He's home phone number?" Nianchen found Xiaopeng's pity phone number on Hua Ziqian's phone. Answer first. When the old man heard that it was a call from the He family, he immediately sat up. "Hello. Mom, I'm Nianchen. I brought my cousin to Xiaopeng's house to play today. We'll come back after dinner." Hua Nianchen was still thinking about his marbles. "Isn't this bad?" Hua Ziqian felt a little embarrassed. As soon as she heard what she said, the old man and Shi Zongguo waved their hands to her before Hua Nianchen could say anything. It's okay. I'd be embarrassed if I were at someone else's house, but the He family is fine," the old man must have said to Hua Ziqian. "You let them play over there, and we'll be there in a minute, just in time to take Ziu and the others over for a meal." You know, it's hard to make an appointment for a meal with the He family. The old man felt like his mouth was watering. Of course, the relationship between the two families is good, otherwise he wouldn't be so shameless. Hua Ziqian looked at Shi Weikan. She felt really embarrassed. When he nodded, she sighed, "Then be good over there. Mom, your wife, grandparents, uncles will be here soon." "Oh, see you later, Mom." Hua Nianchen wanted to hang up the phone as soon as her mother agreed. But Mrs. behind him picked him up and said, "Give it to me. I'll say a few words to your wife." The old lady just realized it. She left the little girl and them to eat here because she liked it, but she didn't know old man Shi yet. He would definitely come running over in a while. Cooking would be very tiring. She doesn't want it? "Oh, here it is for you, ma'am." Hua Nianchen handed over the phone directly and ran outside. The old lady thought the call was for Mr. Shi. As soon as she received the call, she said, "I'm telling you, Mr. Shi, you are not allowed to come to my house. You are not welcome in my house." Huaziqian was embarrassed when she answered the call. She handed the phone to the old man. "It's Grandma He." She couldn't repeat what she just said. The old man answered the phone cheerfully. When he heard it, he was full of curse words. This big girl made him so angry. She really embarrassed him, even in front of his grandson's wife. "Sister, have you had enough of scolding me? The person who answered the phone just now was Zign. I see you are embarrassing everyone. The old man is also a naughty boy." The Hua family couple were a little confused. "Zign, what's going on?" Huaziqian was not very familiar with them after all, so Ma Wenli explained the truth. "It's okay, it's the old lady. She is used to quarreling with the old man and the others. Maybe the old lady guessed what the old man was thinking, so she said those words, which really made Zign suffer. There is no way, because my father-in-law is shameless, so the old lady can cure him." Shi Zongguo also laughed. "It's okay with Zign. When we get there later, the old lady will definitely apologize to you." She scolded the wrong person. Huaziu finally breathed a sigh of relief after hearing what they said. Grandma He and Grandpa have been quarreling for more than a day or two. It has been almost 10 years. They are used to this way of getting along. Shi Weikan was afraid that his brother-in-law would misunderstand, so he also explained. "Okay, let's clean up quickly. I'll go over and help Zioxiu cook in a while. There are so many of us." Ma Wenli took action immediately. At the old man's place, the phone was still on, and the two of them were getting more and more quarrelsome. "I'll do whatever it takes. If you don't give me food, I'll tell Zioxiu that you abused me. Come here, I have some for you to eat. I want to eat. You are beautiful, I tell you, I won't let you in even if you come. Can you stop me?" I'll come, I'll come right away." "Shameless thing, I left the children to eat, and you, a shameless old man, came here too. It's really embarrassing. The old lady is so angry. This man is a scoundrel. I'm afraid he won the war back then. My child is so beautiful, he makes me feel happy when he looks at me. How can he be like you, a piece of old bacon?" After cursing, the old lady hung up the phone angrily. "Humph, I'll judge you for being cruel if you come in later," I didn't forget to mutter. Grandma Xiu was used to their quarrels and happily picked vegetables. "Stop mumbling and come here quickly. There are a lot of people in the family today." The old lady was so angry that her heart ached. That old man, his own relatives actually brought him to my house for dinner. He is really shameless. Isn't that how we all get along well? Besides, who makes your family's food delicious? Grandma Xiu joked with a smile. "Come here, wait until Zioxiu finishes the repairs at Bama village, and I will move the old lady there. I hope he has the nerve to come over to eat and drink. I'm afraid we'll all go with you at that time." Nearly everyone knows about Zioxiu's house building there, and everyone has started making reservations with her. It's a pity that old man Zhang hasn't arrived yet, otherwise we could have discussed it directly with him. When the time comes, you can cook it yourself. Huh, there are so many vegetables in the village, why don't you grow your own hands? The old lady's mouth really didn't scare anyone. "You, please be tough, you were the one who made the tonic soup that old man's son had last time." I didn't want to expose her. Upon hearing old man's son, Grandma He sighed. "You said, if you don't enjoy good blessings, why is he tired like a dog every day? Children and grandchildren will have their own blessings. I think his youngest son is very good. He is worried about your life. The doctors said that she can only take good care of her, so it would be a token of appreciation for her to give her something. So, you'd better give it away. Don't be so harsh, otherwise you may have missed a good sentence by yourself. I'm just the kind of person I am. I can't change it. If he can't bear it, he doesn't have to come. The old lady didn't care at all. If you have a vote, please vote, and if you have money, give a reward. Thank you all. Subscription is the key. I hope everyone can take pity on the hard work. I feel good eating melon today, waiting for the woman to argue. End of this chapter. 80s, the farmer's wife is the boss. Author, Village Girl in City. Chapter 441. Chapter 441, Angry. Fortunately, Xiaoxiu didn't worry much about the children and the elderly at home, so she came back early from driving with Li Hai. His family returned home in one step. Grandma, why did you use the big kitchen today? As soon as she came back, Mei Shui looked at the fire in the big kitchen outside the courtyard. The old lady was pressing water. When she heard Xiaoxiu speaking, she immediately turned her head. Huh, old man, she shamelessly brought his in-laws over for dinner. Seeing the dissatisfied look on her grandma's mouth, Mei Shui laughed. Grandma, if the smile on your face wasn't so deep, I think you are angry. Grandma Xiu also laughed at the side. No, I know how to be tough every day. Why, no, if it weren't for that girl's sake, I wouldn't let them eat. Grandma, he argued. Speaking of this, Grandma Xiu became even more happy. Xiaoxiu, your grandma has found a daughter-in-law for you. Mei Shui looked confused and looked at Li Hai beside her. The two looked at each other and saw the speechlessness in their eyes. Grandma, Xiao is only 14 years old. He is still young. Why did he find a wife again? Mei Shui rolled up her sleeves, walked to Grandma, and started to work. Xiaoxiu, let me tell you, that girl is really good. She is so pretty. Standing next to Xiao, she is not suppressed by Xiao at all. The old lady immediately became energetic when she talked about this. Compared to the vigor with which she scolded Mr. Shi, Meixiu was speechless. Seeing her grandma being so interested, she would not be ruined. Just listen. Li Hai wanted to hear it, but her son wouldn't do it. Mom, I'm looking for my brother, I'm looking for my brother. So, she had to take Ming Ming to the backyard to play with her brothers. After the dishes were washed, Mei Shui understood what the old lady and the others said. So, this is why you keep people to eat. She was speechless. Okay. Yes, let Xiao work harder, maybe he will be one of our own in the future, the old lady said with pride. I must have good taste. Well, Grandma, you have the best taste. Of course, otherwise why would I have taken a fancy to you in the first place? Hee hee. With so many people at home, there must be a lot of cooking to do. Mei Shui can't handle it alone, but the fumes in the kitchen are too big, and she doesn't want her grandma to suffer here. Grandma Xiu, go and see the children. Just leave this to me. She might have to go faster by herself. After a while, Li Hai came over to help with the beatings, and it was time to eat at around 5 or 6 o'clock. Of course Grandma he would not be polite to her Xiaoxiu, and she happened to want to take another look at that girl. That's it, I'll leave it to you here. Wash all the meat and vegetables, take out the chicken and defrost it. Just boil the bacon and wash it in a while. The old lady took off her apron and took out the things she prepared one by one. Tell Xiaoxiu. Okay, I've seen it all, Grandma, you go and play. In the eyes of Xiaoxiu and his generation, the old lady and the others are all naughty children and they must behave accordingly. After Grandma and the others left, Mei Shui looked at the things on the ground and shook her head. How many tables must there be here? Fortunately, Li Hai came over after a while. Sister-in-law, how can I help you? Her cooking is not as delicious as her sister-in-law's. Help me light the fire, these vegetables have to be stewed. As soon as the chicken was out of the pot, Mei Shui heard the door knocking outside. Fortunately, the sound was loud enough, otherwise she might not be able to hear it. You watch the fire, and I'll open the door. I think everyone was playing in the backyard. Okay, sister-in-law, go ahead. Mei Shui opened the door, and when she saw the people outside, she immediately got out of the way. The old man barged in directly. When he saw it was Xiaoxiu, he was embarrassed to show his true feelings. "That's Xiaoxiu, haha, my feet slipped just now," he immediately explained why he rushed in. Mei Shui ignored him lazily. "They are all in the backyard, you should go quickly." The old man didn't talk nonsense and looked at his son. "Take good care of Xiu and the others, or you won't go home." After saying that, he ran away. It made Huaziu and his wife very embarrassed. "Stop standing outside and come in quickly. My hands are all oily. You can carry the things in by yourselves. I have to cook. Aunt Wenli will help me greet the guests. Everyone is here, so we have to hurry up." "Sure, go get busy," Ma Wenli responded immediately. Huaziu glanced at his little sister. This was too casual. Shi Weikan has been paying attention to his lover, and of course he also saw the blank look in his uncle's eyes. "It doesn't matter. We are all familiar with each other and we don't have to be polite. Brother, if you don't believe it, I will take you to see the old man's scolding battle later." Huaziu was helpless. "Forget it, let's go in first." When we arrived at the living room of the He family, it was very simple inside. It was definitely not as expensive as the Hua family, but this environment made people more comfortable. Ma Wenli knows where the good things are. She takes them out and uses them without any hesitation. These are all made by Xiaoxiu herself, and they are much better than those famous teas. Come over and try them. After Huaziu and the others saw that their in-laws were so familiar with each other, they didn't say much. She just brought it to them and used it. The wine cabinet behind the sofa is quite large. It is filled with wine in porcelain bottles and is still sealed. Huaziu looked around once and then took it back. When it came to Shi Zongguo, his eyes could not return for a long time. "Dad, please stop looking. No matter how much you look at the wine, Xiaoxiu will not take it out for you to drink." Shi Weikan knew what his father was thinking. "I heard Xiaoxiu say that she only got these wines when she joined the feudal society, and she would have to wait at least 10 or 8 years to drink them." "Nonsense, when did I say I wanted to drink?" Shi Zongguo glared at his son. "Don't let Xiaoxiu hear it, or what if she hides it all in the future? 10 or 8 years can wait." After Ma Wenli arranged the place, she immediately went to the big kitchen outside to help. It's impossible not to help. There are so many people who rely on Xiaoxiu alone. When Ans comes back, I will feel heartbroken. I really don't want to come to their house for dinner next time. With the addition of another person to help, Mei Shui finally felt a little more relaxed, but after 3 tables, she was almost exhausted. "It's time to eat. Go and ask them to come over for dinner." The dining table was set up early in the living room. 3 tables. All the lights inside and outside the courtyard were also lit. It's no different from the Chinese New Year. Hians came back after dark. When he drove to his door, he saw several cars parked. There is one he knows, owned by an old man. There are other cars coming. I'm afraid they are driven by historians. After a tiring day, he was a little overwhelmed, frowned, opened the door and walked in. There are really 2 worlds inside and outside the door. At first I could hear some voices, but not noisy, but here. Hians felt like his head was about to explode. Especially the sound of quarreling between my grandma and Mr. Shi. Please vote for recommendations, please give rewards, please subscribe. End of this chapter.